Hey guys, how are you? It is me, Lauren B with Untitled Tarot. We are gonna do our first lunar cycle, energy shift reading, whatever you wanna call it. This is very new to me, so I'm a little nervous to do this. I'm not gonna lie. It's a little bit like being in school with all my little notes. So I'm gonna bop around a little bit and just kind of talk about what is happening right now. I wrote down all of the moon cycles for like the next month and a half, but one that in particularly jumped out to me was today. It is the 11th, it is Tuesday. It is rolling into tomorrow, the 12th, and it is the last quarter moon. It is a moon in Taurus. The moon has moved into Taurus. And in conjunction with that, there is something called the Perseus meteor shower. And it goes between July 17th to August 24th, I believe. So depending on where you are in the world, you should be able to see it late tonight on Tuesday, or you might be able to catch glimpses of it tomorrow morning. So that's something pretty cool. And that meteor shower is in the constellations of Perseus, which I took some notes on Perseus, which are kind of interesting. We may get into them. But, so, we just had Lionsgate, right? Big fire energy. In Leo season, more big fire energy. And we just had the last new moon in Aries. So, what was basically happening is that we were using all of our fire, all of our power, our trigger moments, pressure from the universe, everything to kind of push any broken bits that we had personally in our lives, in our relationships, kind of push it straight, right? A little bit like Source re-breaking a bone so that way it could finally set correctly, right? And doing that was Lionsgate. That created a portal, a chance for you to be in your highest alignment for your new timeline. Now, what's happening is that there is a bit of a waiting period, right? Between these manifestations, these answered prayers, these blessings, these life cycle upswifts, whatever it may be, for them to come in and for the portal kind of to close, for us to be in alignment, right? So wherever we were, where Lionsgate was, if we were perfectly in alignment, ready, set, lock, stock, and barrel, like ready to go, or if there were still some things we needed to work on, cords need to be cut, traumas need to be addressed, whatever that may be, this is the waiting period for that. So either you are going to be using this time before, I want to say, the Gemini Moon coming up to kind of go back in and fill up any holes, any gaps, cross any T's, any I's that you sort of need to in order for when this stuff comes in to have your hands free to grab it, or you're really trying to energetically, in a very positive way, hold that space while everything else kind of lines up to you as well. So if degrees are important, I did a lot of angel numbers in this. The moon in Taurus, it's coming at 17 and 6 degrees. 17 and 6 degrees. So moon in Taurus, what this is doing for us is that it's reminding us that our safety depends on our stability, right? As human beings, that's what we do. We put roofs over our heads. We make sure that the water's running. We make sure that there's gas in the car. We make sure that there's money in our we always make sure of these little things, right? And it's Taurian, so it's very pentacle. It's very tangible, earthy energy. Making sure that we have these, I'm gonna say like signifiers of safety, right? But so oftentimes we have that and then we still feel very insecure or very fired up or still very lack mentality, even though we have all of these things around us, right? I think the pressure from Leo season's Lionsgate and that moon in Aries really kind of pushed that up for us. I'm almost getting like a blemish, like a pimple, kind of like it pushed everything a little bit to a head, right? So the thing is that like that's not super easy to satisfy now. That sense of creating stability, especially like in a passionate or an emotional place for a lot of us, right? Because that requires us cutting some cords, making amends, apologies, inepting, maybe being inept, feeling inept in the ability to find true compassion, find true forgiveness for ourselves, for things that happened in our past. But the main thing here is that we want to ground ourselves, right? This Taurus moon is going to give us the opportunity to ground ourselves after all of and don't forget, Cancer season was before Leo season. So it's like, we've been through it as a community. And so now's really a good time to kind of ground ourselves in the things that do make us feel solid, things that do make us feel safe, things that do make us feel comfortable, but not the things that do that because of some kind of toxic or unhealthy attachment, not out of a scarcity mindset, right? Not out of that lack control kind of feeling. It's really about trying to have compassion for yourself for where you are, knowing realistically in a tangible sense, yes, maybe I need to get more organized, maybe I need to put effort more in this, maybe I need to retract effort from this person in this area, wherever it may be, but you feel the most centered and grounded when you feel the most like yourself, when you're walking in your authentic truth, right? Because what we want to do, the way we ground ourselves, is through self-respect and self-worth, right? Because that is true stability, or at least that's what we hope that we can get to, a place where that feels like it's true stability. I have a deck, the Oracle of Mystical Moments, and there's a card in it called Home in the Sky. And then there's another one called My Home is My Castle. And it's about feeling like no matter where you are, no matter what you're going through or who you're dealing with, like your internal structure is still solid on who you know you are and what your beliefs are and what your values and what you want to participate in and what you won't participate in, right? So that's what's going on there. I thought it was interesting. I saw some like physical combinations with Taurus. And so I didn't realize, I'm learning, is that Taurus rules the necks, the larynx, the thyroid glands, the throat, tonsils, vocal cords, and Adam's apples. So again, this is a little bit, it's like all of like this throat chakra action, right? It's like having to be more vocal, actually like put your words in like a physical way, like out of your mind and through your mouth to other people. Like, no, I'm sorry, I can't hang out with you anymore. No, actually, like, I'm actually gonna go over here and apply for work. Like whatever it may be for you, really setting those boundaries for yourself, but then not like keeping those boundaries to yourself. Like when a situation arises, kind of meeting it head on, not in an aggressive way, because we're in Leo season, but we're not in the Aries moon anymore. We're in Taurus moon. So we're kind of like Queen of Pentacles, King of Pentacles, like it's almost like Gandalf, like, no, you shall not pass. Like, this is my boundary. I have to express that. So if you're not, or if you're working through that, you might be feeling some like dryness, some scratchiness, like soreness. You might be like choking on your words or like coughing a lot. That happens to me a lot when I have to like address something, like physically, verbally, like express something to someone and I don't want to do it. That happens to me a lot. So that could be happening to you. But the moon will switch over into Gemini on, I want to say on the 12th, so tomorrow. So tomorrow night, after it moves out of Taurus, it will move into Gemini. And that air energy will help you. If you still have any like cobwebs left, like the wind will help blow them out for you. So really with this Taurus new moon, is what it's going to do, I hope for us, is because, like I said, it's an earth sign, it's a tangible sign, is that there's all different dimensions, right? So we talk about the 3D. So that's things you can touch, feel, see, right? And then there's the 4D and there's the 5D, and it's these elevated levels of spiritual consciousness and interaction and all of that sort of stuff. What this is doing, because it's an earth energy, is kind of allowing you to see where you sit like amongst the muggles. Like, what's your muggle checklist right now? How are you doing? Are you a little like too off into space and it's like you're having a hard time at recess? You know, have you been in the lunchroom too long and now you're getting into ancient history class and you're like, you can't grasp the concepts? Are you thinking too big? Are you thinking too small? Are you going like too much with the flow? Are you going too much against the grain? Where do you sit on like this world stage? I took a political science class, for those of you who don't know, which I think is all of you. I still have one semester left in school. I digress. But I went for political science and foreign policy. So I hated politics until I took one class with one teacher. And the way she explained it to me was every country and every person and every party, we're all players on a world stage, right? And the world moves as the world turns. And some players get bigger, some roles get bigger, some become supporting cast, antagonists, protagonists, the whole and that really kind of clicked it into a certain perspective for me. So it's like, where do you sit on your personal world stage, on the world stage right now? Like, how are you? It's almost a sense of, I think all of that fiery energy really pushed up for people a lot of the ways in which they feel like perhaps they are not doing enough. Like, maybe I'm not contributing enough. Like, what is my purpose here? Like, what is my mission? What is my really putting center center stage on how you, sorry, I'm like channeling while I'm doing this, how you, like almost like what is your light work? Like how do you contribute to society as a whole? Like I'm also hearing like, is anybody like gonna remember me? Like I want people to remember me. It's this thing, which again pushes up with that fire energy, a little bit of the ego, a little bit of the shadow side that we've been working on. That's kind of the universe, God, source, pointing out those cracks in those bones, those little fissures, the fractures, right? That kind of need to go back together and have that time to heal and straighten up and become strong. But it's really about like, where do you sit now? How do you feel about it? Are you an antagonist? Are you a protagonist? How would you like to move forward? Are you contributing? Are you support staff? Like, where do you sit? Are you happy where you're sitting, like in your actual physical life? And what do we do to move forward along that? But the good thing is, like I said, it's the pressure, it's almost like a controlled fire. So that way you could have new growth. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So the new moon that's coming up, by the way, which I thought was very interesting, and this is like it's kind of like a download, which I don't normally share on my downloads, but I'm trying to be more expressive. And maybe some of you have some stuff you want to share or contribute, but the new moon that's coming up is considered a black moon. This is a separate thing, I think. It's called a black moon, which is either the third new moon in a season with 4 new moons, or it's the second new moon in the same month. This one in particular that's coming up, which is the 14th. No, it's the 18th. It's the 18th. 818. 818. I don't know if I did the angel number for that. I don't think I did. Nevertheless. But this one is the third new moon. And it was interesting. And I was watching Jurassic Park last night, and they were like, the Cretaceous period, the Cretaceous period. And I was like, I haven't studied dinosaurs since I was in like elementary school. I was like, okay, let me see. And then the Cretaceous period was the third and final period before the extinction of dinosaurs. So I'm thinking that perhaps, I'm trying to connect the dots as we go along, that with this new moon that's coming up, anything that it's like a sifter, I'm almost seeing like fossils, that anything that when you hit that Lion's Gate alignment, whatever had to be fixed or fished, anything that had to be fixed, aligned, rebroken, reset, gotten rid of, extinguished, whatever it was. I'm getting the sense that by 818, by the new black moon, that those cords, those timelines, those cycles, those will all be extinct. They will all be extinct. And then there will be a period of new growth, right? Because you're going to have that Gemini moon come in next, and that's air energy. And so I'm almost seeing like this Taurus moon is kind of planting these seeds, and they need to kind of take root. And then Gemini season is kind of going to come in. I'm almost seeing like, you know, like a flower and the wind blows and it takes the little seeds and it drops them everywhere, or like the wind blows and like acorns fall from a tree and then they go and they roll and then they plant themselves. I'm getting like that kind of energy. That's sort of what I'm getting. And then the Cancer moon after the Gemini moon is kind of going to be the water coming in to kind of water all of those seeds and let them nourish. And then we'll have another Leo new moon, and that's gonna pop everything off, right? That's the heat from the sun to make everything grow. So that's the cycles that I think are going along right now. Like I'm talking a lot. Oh, I think I misspoke. The Taurus moon, I believe, well, it depends where you start in the world, but it could for you start on the 10th, which was Monday, which was yesterday, or it could have started today for you. It depends where you are in the world. Just saying. But it came up at 1:28 UTC is the time. And 128 in angel numbers is rapidly manifesting through positive thinking, maintaining an abundant attitude. I'm getting like when one door closes, one door opens. Again, about like holding that positive space. And then 1 + 2 is 3, and then 3 + 8 = 11. 11 is a master number, and it means inspiration and enlightenment, the right time to kind of take action and like make choices that really bring you like the ultimate fulfillment, real fulfillment, not just like in a material aspect, which is hard under a Taurus moon, because again, tangible earth energy, pentacle energy, but again, things that make you feel solid and stable no matter where you are, no matter what your financial situation, no matter what job you're at, no matter what group of people you're in. It's like those internal institution, right? It's like that inner hierophant. sort of energy, which is Taurus, Hierophant. That makes sense. That makes sense. But the overall message is like, I'm getting like, help is on the way, dear. Like, good news is on the way, right? Because whether through blessing or bruising or breaking, there was work happening there for us. But it's about kind of being able to ground ourselves in uncertainty, which is hard after we just got all like done wiping our eyes from Cancer season, and then we're all hyped up because we're in Leo season. We had that Aries moon, and we're just like, oh, I could do whatever I want. And then you're like, I don't like what I'm doing. It's now we're in Taurus moon, so now we can kind of ground it. And as like, it's almost like as the world spins around you, like you can create like an inner calm place, like an inner sanctuary where you can go in and remind yourself, like, I'm gonna get through this and it's gonna be okay. Call it your like affirmation closet, your prayer closet, whatever it may be for you. But what did it say? Yeah, it will keep us from over fantasizing as well, because that's very easy for a lot of us to do, especially with all of the shifts happening. That being able to kind of ground and root that energy will not only keep us from unrealistic expectations, almost like building ourselves up just to kind of like let ourselves down, right? Not in the sense of like having expectations, like positive expectations for yourself, for your growth, for your future, but almost of like things that are in the past, things that were broken to stay broken is what I'm getting. Because if we do that, if we don't ground this stuff, because we want it to take root, because we want it to actually be able to grow in this new cycle, when that Gemini moon comes in, I'm getting that it's going to be like the King of Swords, but like real huffy puffy, almost like Big Bad Wolf, like huff and a puff and I'll blow you away. And it's going to over harvest. It's just going to cut everything out, even the good growth that you've had in this cycle, because it's almost going to be like a defense, like survival mechanism. So if we can kind of ground what we know to be true, what actually makes us feel secure, makes us feel very forward moving, then we will have the inner strength that we need in order to allow, I'm almost getting like a mudslide, like allow any debris, it's very Jurassic Park, allow any debris to kind of just flow away. And then as the Gemini moon comes in, instead of over harvesting everything, it's a sense to like protect ourselves, putting up all the walls, all the boundaries, everything, like no one can get in. It'll be more like a gentle breeze that will come in, and it will be able to take the seeds and kind of keep the growth going for us, I think. Also, if you are, because there are a lot of 11s kind of floating around in here, if you are someone, I mean, we're all intuitive, but if you're somebody that considers yourself a light worker, you do any kind of energy work, Reiki, you read cards, like whatever, motivational speaking, sermons, ministry, whatever it is for you. Now I'm getting is like a very pertinent time for, if you're feeling a little extra pressure, if you're feeling like you're going through a lot of like a new wave of an awakening, or another dark night, or an ego death, or you feel like there's like an acceleration, your dreams are getting stranger, your abilities are kind of changing, the way you're receiving things and the way you're kind of almost feeling and acting. I think that that's normal right now. I'm assuming that it's normal right now. There's oh, here, okay, hold on. This Gemini moon is going to come in August 12th to the 13th, and it's at 1:46 p.m., right? So 1:46 is an angel number, is to release your fears and anxieties, especially about maternal needs, or material needs. Maternal needs, ooh, there could be some mommy stuff. We might have to get into that. But 1:46, so 1 and 4 is 5, 5 and 6 is 11, 11, 11. So again, it's not so much about like counterpart union, it's about your union of all of your parts, right? Your counterparts, right? Your north node, your south node, your masculine, your feminine energy, your higher self, your ego, your inner child, all of it, your inner, outer understanding of yourself in the 3D world, as you kind of try and figure out more about who you actually are on a higher spiritual plane, and how, and by doing that, right, it's sort of like when we do root and crown work, chakras at the same time, right? You need like deep roots and tall branches. You need deep roots and tall branches. So right now it's a season of stretching. is what I'm getting. I'm getting like a little bit like Stretch Armstrong, and you kind of feel like at any point you could just like, but in reality, you're not going to do that, because God and the universe never gives us more than we can handle, even though it doesn't feel like it at the time. But it is a season of stretching, right? So we could get closer to our highest potential, right? And rooting ourselves in things that are really solid and sturdy, that can absorb nutrients, right? So that's a thing there. But if you look up 1111 as an angel number, other than all the twin flame stuff, it is like a wake-up call. It is like a call to action, like a sound the alarm to continue or to start developing your spiritual life in a more productive way, like in a more intentional way, as I would say. It's, you know, you have your social life, you have your work life, you know, you have your party life or your sex life or your social media life or your private time life. You have all these lives, right? We live all of these lives. But, you know, where is your prayer life? Where is your meditation life? Where is your, this is my time to spiritually grow myself life? Like, do you have that? Because most people don't. A lot of people don't. Even a lot of spiritual people, like, you're like, la la, I hear weird things sometimes, and like sometimes we forget, because we kind of walk in it every single day, to kind of sit down and actually put like intentional time and practice into developing our skills. Just like, I can hear stuff, or I know that, or somehow I just knew that was gonna happen, or ba 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 ba. You know, sometimes we forget like to kind of come back to the table and like pull cards on yourself and see if you're interpreting things in another way, or if a different symbol gives you a totally different message now, or whatever it is. Really kind of working those muscles, those kind of spiritual muscles, to figure out kind of what we're good at and what way we do help, right? Tabitha Brown just did a little video about kind of how to build a house, right? Not everybody can do the same thing. Someone's got to lay the concrete, and somebody's got to put in the windows, and somebody's got to do the roofing, and somebody's got to put in the carpet, somebody's got to do the plumbing. Like, not all of us can do all of the same things, right? We don't all have the same abilities. Some people can't help you with shadow work, right? Some people can help you with soul retrieval. Some people can do 5D energy work. Some people can drop into the collective consciousness. Some people read cards. Some people read auras. Some people are just really empathic, and then they go home crying every night, and they don't understand why they're all wired and upset, because they don't know they're absorbing all of everyone's energy, right? They don't know they need a peach moonstone or something, right? So we all have different things. Some people do Reiki. Some people do satin blade. It's amazing. Like, it's amazing. And so I think in kind of sitting down with ourselves, and as part of grounding as well, is to kind of also build trust and faith in our own abilities. Once we kind of get in the nitty gritty, kind of see like what we are good at and what we can do, and really how we can contribute in a very positive, you know, productive manner for like the betterment of everyone and the betterment of everything. So I think that that's something to really be thinking about, because I think as our 3D world kind of shifts, or while we're waiting for these 3D manifestations to kind of come in, I think a lot of us, it's like, while these roots are taking hold, a lot of our branches are kind of getting higher and higher, and it can get a little freaky, because you're like, I didn't know I could get up this high. Like, I don't know how to get down. And the answer is, you don't really, you just keep going up. So I think that there's something in that. Integration, yeah, soul retrieval, code activation, more than 3D, holding spiritual space. Yeah, that's a lot of it is the gist of it. But also I feeling very called to say that if physically you're feeling very tired, physically you're feeling, like I said, like maybe a little uncomfortable, sore throat, just like exhausted, a little bit exhausted, like you're sleeping a lot, those are also very oftentimes like symptoms of ascension, right? It's a little bit like when you get surgery. Like, I got my appendix out last year, and I remember I woke up from surgery and I just wanted to go, and I just wanted to do stuff, and I was like, I'm fine, it's done, it's over with. But I didn't realize, like, oh no, I'm exhausted, and it like hurts to bend down, and like I can't do anything, and I just want to do stuff, and I can't, like, because I just don't really feel that good, even though I think I should feel fine, right? And you're still like a little loopy because you're coming off the drugs. It's, you know, it's like when you go through an ego death, when you go through an ascension, when you go through shadow work, when you go through any of that, it's almost like you're a little bit in like a fog, trying to, because you don't understand, and it's like your emotions are everywhere and your head's another place, and you know, it's like you don't know your ass from your elbow in those moments, right? And so it's like you kind of have to like shake the sleep off of you a little bit, and then you're like, oh, my body hurts and I'm tired, and like I'm a little angsty because I don't feel good, but I don't know why I don't feel good. That's a little bit what like coming off of those processes feels like. So if you're going through that, you're not crazy, you're not a baby, just like hold strong, like you're gonna get through it. Like take your naps, eat some vegetables, like get your sleep, like work with it, walk it out as we do over here. So in conclusion, thank you for coming to my TED talk, my B talk, is that depending on where you were when Lionsgate happened, right, how in alignment you were for the things in which you are seeking, because you were always in alignment for where you are in your journey, but for the next phase, right, will really depend whether the next few days will be more or less comfortable for you. So some of you might be having like a lot of pressure moments. Some of you might have done this, be catching the wave a little early, and now you're feeling a lot better now that Taurus season or Taurus moon is coming in Leo season. Because I feel like Taurus kind of almost like puts the reins a little bit on the lion a little bit, and sometimes that's good because otherwise like the lion could just run off and be like, I can run so far, and then it's like, wait, we lost Simba. You know, the reins are a little bit like Nala. She's kind of like, okay, let's go find it, let's go find our pride, let's go find the issue, let's go fix it, let's go bring it on home, right? So right now with this third quarter moon, I think it's important that we try and ground ourselves as much as we can, like I said, in our real authenticity, in our truth, the things that we know about ourselves, without being mean to ourselves about it as well, like the good and the bad. You take them both and there you have the facts of life. So I think that that's really important to do. I also think it's important to not scrunch down when you start to feel the stretching happening, right? Because this is how we grow oak trees. This is how we grow like big and tall. There is a big, there's a big like umbrella of self-discipline and discernment and honesty to yourself, about yourself, to others, about others right now, right? Like some of those branches are a little weak. Some of those roots aren't going to take, and we need to be honest with ourselves and other people about that, right? And it might be a little uncomfortable if we've already kind of done it or we've already laid the groundwork for it to be in alignment for Lionsgate, then you're ahead of the game. If not, it's still not a problem. Like you still have time. Every day is a new day to try and better yourself, to try and push yourself further along the path that you know is going to feel the best for you, that's going to make your heart happy and sing, right? Your purpose, whatever that is for you, it's not something that anyone ever tells you. It's just something you kind of stumble over like a rock, you know, and go like, oh, look what I found. It's a little bit like that. So if you feel like you're still stumbling a little bit, like it's okay. Just rest in the knowledge that like maybe you'll scrape your knee, but like we're gonna get you a Band-Aid and you're gonna heal and you're gonna get right back up like a pop-up soccer game, and you're just gonna go. You're just gonna do it. It's like the little engine that could. So last quarter moon, Taurus moon, the little engine that could. I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. But maybe you can't come, but I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, right? And when all this pressure's done, we're gonna have that Gemini moon come in. It's gonna be like a nice soothing breeze across our face, and the Cancer moon is gonna come in and we're gonna be like, what is that, Dirty Dancing? Not Dirty Dancing, Flash Dance. And she's like, oh, that's how we're all gonna feel. It's gonna be phenomenal. I can't wait. So this was our little energy moon cycle read. I don't know if I did a good job. I hope that I did. This is the first time that I'm doing this. I'm enjoying learning a lot from this because I'm kind of learning as I go. I'm not an astrologist. I'm not an astronomer. I do want these to be very interactive. So I'm sure a lot of you guys know way more about what's going on than I do. So if you do, feel free to share. I'd like to be, you know, very open about this, very open house, table talk. Everybody sit, gather around. Let's pass some ideas. I think we could all learn a lot from each other. So thank you guys. I hope that you enjoyed this, and I will see you next time. Okay, goodbye.